Good everyone, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. Please, if you are new here, do well to subscribe and click on the notification bell so that you can get updates from us. Believing you've done that, let's go straight to our topic for today. If you recall, last week we discussed about the effects of rape on its victims, and today we'll be discussing the part 2 of that topic, the effect of rape on its victims, and also we'll see how those who are victimized by this ugly incident can also recover and gain their normal day-to-day activities and move on with their normal day-to-day activities and also gain themselves back. Now, before we go straight, we're talking about the medical effects of rape on its victims. Last week we saw the definition of rape. We saw also a brief statistic on Nigeria about rape cases. We saw that about 717 cases are reported in Nigeria. I also saw the general effect of rape on its victims. Today we are going to mention the medical effect of rape on its victims. Then we'll look about what we can do to prevent rape cases or sexual assaults. What we can do also if we are victims of rape, how can we recover? What will help us to recover? And also we also see how can family and friends help those who are victims of rape. We see a brief note for parents to guide their children so that they don't become victims of rape or sexual assault. Now, without wasting much time, let's go straight to the first one we have here, which is the medical effect of rape on its victims. There's a very long list of what could happen to those who are victims of rape medically. That's why I encourage all rape victims to always visit the gum clinic and the gum centers. The gum centers, it simply means genital urinary medical centers. They are gynecological medical centers. Anyone you want to call it, those are the right centers to care for them. And one of the medical effects of rape on its victim is gynecological disorders. Not the spike, anything medical has to do with what? Grammar and name. So it's gynecological disorders. We have reproductive disorders, and that is very, very understandable. We have sexual disorders. We have infertility. Infertility as a result of what? Those who, for example, are sexually assaulted, and as a result of that, they are not pregnant. What do you think? Most of them may not want to have such a child. They will go to hospitals for an abortion or go to some places for some abortion. What do you think will happen? After having that abortion, maybe there are some other complications, and as a result of those complications, you find that the person is infertile, can no longer have a child and some other issues. Also may discover some chronic infection that they may not do well to treat, and those might lead to partial infertility and some other issues. They also have pelvic inflammatory disease. We also have pregnancy complications. Well, they will have some might suffer from miscarriages. They will have sexual dysfunction. For example, if, like we said, the sexual assault always involves the use of violence or physical violence. You don't know what might happen, and these people may suffer from such disorders, sexual dysfunction. Dysfunction. We also have acquiring sexual transmitted infections, including HIV and AIDS. And what do we mean by that term, acquiring sexually transmitted infection, including HIV and AIDS? And why is it very important? It's very, very important that we take note of this. Those who are sexually assaulted, they don't always want to speak up, and some they just bear it to themselves. It's better you speak up. You go to, if you think you want to speak up, go to seek medical care. Why is it important? Is that sometimes you don't know people who normally carry out this act of raping. There are people who move from one woman to another, from raping one person to having sex with another person to raping another person. Maybe most of them might be HIV positive. You may not know. But the good thing of going to an hospital, they will place you on the drugs if they deem it that is very, very necessary to prevent any occurrence of becoming HIV positive. They will place you on a drug known as what? PEP. The PEP is called post-exposure prophylaxis. That drug helps you not to become infected by the virus HIV. it works within 72 hours. So if you are HIV, if you've been assaulted, if you can get to the hospital between that time to the next 72 hours, you are placed on this drug for just 1 month to be ensure that you are not affected by HIV and AIDS. So people who are sexually assaulted can suffer from these sexually transmitted diseases. There are other diseases like hepatitis B virus and hepatitis C. So there are other ways to care for this virus also to prevent them from becoming infectious to us. Going to a clinic, a gun clinic or a gynecological clinic will also help us to get all this basic information. Then we also have a mortality from injuries, other issues that can arise from injury sustained during sexual assault. We also have an increased risk of suicide. Majority of people who are sexually assaulted, they feel they are no longer equal, like we discussed last week. They don't longer see themselves as equal with others. They don't longer feel worthy of being called a woman or a man. Just imagine, take this example. For example, a woman who is courting. When I mean courting, is already dating a guy, and they're in a courtship, trying to see how they can get to marry. And maybe the woman is a virgin. All of a sudden, she was raped, and the guy said, I'm not going to marry you any longer. That person may feel depressed, and what will happen? It can take his or her life. Some suffer from this, the threat of suicide. I want to just die. I want to kill myself. I just want to leave this world. I can't look at people's face. I can't come out. All these are some of the medical effects of the rape on its victims. We also mentioned, like we mentioned last week, in the general effects of rape on its victims. Do we have depression there? We have chronic pains. So feel chronic pain, especially if it is done by force and struggling. They feel chronic pain that maybe lasts weeks, if not months. Then some also have psychosomatic disorders, those are medical English. Then some also have unsafe abortion because of this condition. Maybe like I explained earlier, they got pregnant as a result of the rape case, and they don't want to go to an hospital. They'll go and look for all these people that can easily give them pills or drugs to take and abort such a child. Some also suffer from unwanted pregnancies. All these are just a list of some of the medical effects of rape on its victims. So you see that it's a very big traumatic condition on any person who is suffering from this, and it takes time, and if not even the help of God alone, to recover fully from this effect. Because many times people who suffer from this condition, they don't always go back to their normal day-to-day activities. It's already there, it's already recorded in their memory, and time in, time out, something will always want to trigger that ugly memory back and giving them distress in their thinking. But there's help. Now, if we've not been sexually assaulted, if you've not been raped, or you've not been a victim of rape, what can you do to prevent being a victim of rape? Now take note, this subtopic we're treating, what you can do to prevent sexual assault, is not saying that if you do these things that you cannot be sexually assaulted. No. But these are measures we can take to prevent or to reduce the risk of exposure to these predators out there. One is to be prepared. What do we mean by to prepare? It means that know in advance what you will do if someone tries, just maybe what you may do if someone tries to carry out such acts. It may be somebody you are dating. You don't see him as someone who can rape you, but what if that person brings such moves, trying to assault you or trying to do something? What can you do? Or what if not just someone you are dating, someone out there? What will you do if you are faced with such situations? You can do this by having practice sections, or placing or trying to picture various scenarios. You can even act it out, what you will do if someone tries, and how you can escape such an ugly situation. People always say, abeg, no need for that. We don't pray for bad thing. Yes, there's nobody that prays for bad thing. Even those who are sexually assaulted, they never saw it coming. They never expected such an event or ugly event to happen to them. That is why, according to Barack Obama, he said, we hope for the best, but we prepare for what? The worst. So it's better for you to prepare for what could happen at any given time and see what you can do to avoid such or to avert such an ugly situation than being relaxed that nothing can happen, where you know in this world anything can happen. That's one thing we can do to prevent or to reduce the probability of being sexually assaulted. Another